So Vulture released quite an extensive preview that delved into a lot of really cool details about Red Dead Redemption 2, and they had the chance to interview Rockstar co-founder Dan Houser, and when he was interviewed there was one particular comment from this article that has stuck out to a lot of people. When he was rounding out a lot of cool details about the game, he specifically said, quote, "We were working 100-hour weeks." So naturally, everyone goes crazy about this online. So many people calling for action taken against Rockstar. I saw some people calling to boycott Red Dead Redemption 2 because of this. So many people on Twitter and other social media platforms, at least in my opinion, completely overreacting to this scenario. And while obviously I do not condone forcing employees to work over 100-hour weeks, I'm not at all in favour of making employees work ridiculous amounts of hours every week. However, everyone freaked out over this one little comment, even though there actually wasn't a lot of details and context surrounding it. Well, since everyone freaked out about it, naturally Rockstar decided to respond. Dan Houser himself responded with a statement to IGN saying the following: "There seems to be some confusion arising from my interview with Harold Goldberg. The point I was trying to make in the article was related to how the narrative and dialogue in the game was crafted, which was mostly what we talked about, not about the different processes of the wider team. After working on the game for 7 years, the senior writing team, which consists of 4 people, Mike Unsworth, Rupert Humphreys, Laszlo and myself, had, as we always do, 3 weeks of intense work when we wrapped everything up. 3 weeks, not years. We've all worked together for at least 12 years now and feel we need this to get everything finished. After so many years of getting things organised and ready on this project, we needed this to check and finalise everything. More importantly, obviously we don't expect anyone else to work this way. Across the whole company, we have some senior people who work very hard purely because they're passionate about a project or their particular work, and we believe that passion shows in the games we release. But that additional effort is a choice, and we don't ask or expect anyone to work anything like this." So there you go. Honestly, there isn't a lot else to say about this. This is just yet another silly controversy in the gaming industry, and I just feel as though a lot of people in the gaming community on social media just love to get outraged over something, love to have knee-jerk reactions to something we don't yet fully understand, as was present with this issue. He made one small comment about 100-hour work weeks. He said it while he was talking about the story development process. Everyone took that to mean, oh wow, you're forcing your employees to work 100-hour weeks. That's a terrible thing to do. How dare you do this? Let's boycott Red Dead Redemption 2. It's these kind of irrational reactions where people seem to just refuse to use any kind of logic or common sense. If this was true, if Rockstar had actually done this and forced employees to work 100-hour weeks, obviously I would not condone that. Obviously that would suck. And obviously action should be taken against that. People just jumped to conclusions on this matter. They jumped the gun. They assumed the worst instantly. He was only referring to himself and the core writing team on the game. He was not referring to any other Rockstar employees. And I feel as though it's a shame this has to be said. Don't just react to something. Don't see a headline, don't see an extract from an article and just flip out and get outraged over it immediately for no reason. Wait until we have all the facts on a certain matter. We should all, using common sense, wait until we have all the facts, all the details about something before we start jumping to conclusions and start calling for boycotts and all this ridiculous nonsense. Is it too much to ask of people to just make sure you know the facts, you know everything about a particular situation before you overreact to it? But there is of course a possibility that he's lying or that he's manipulating the truth in some form. I don't believe that is the case, but that would be terrible. I just don't understand why he would do something like that. Since he's the one that originally brought up this whole 100-hour claim, wouldn't he realize if it were true that employees and all employees are forced to work that amount of hours, wouldn't he realize that that's going to be a huge problem? And since he's the one that brought it up in the first place, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But the only reason I wanted to throw that potential point out there was because back in 2010 when the first Red Dead Redemption released, I do believe at that time there was also controversies about how Rockstar employees were being incredibly overworked on the original game as well. And obviously I don't believe there's any way we can know if those claims were true at the time, but since there is some kind of history regarding Rockstar and how they could potentially be treating their employees badly, that could be something that indicates that this is in fact true. Anyway, my point is, be civil online. Don't get involved in this ridiculous outrage culture and getting mad at everything the second you see a headline. Use your noggin, use your brain, use your common sense. Always remember you're welcome to tell me how wrong my opinion is in the comment section down below. This has been SirCazz, farewell.